Hi, this is Keshav of CSC Data Science. Today our topic was explain arrays concept using R language. What is an array? Array is a variable that can store multiple values of the same type. Values are stored in adjacent memory locations. If a variable is a name of a memory location, an array is a name of a group of them, declared using bracket operator. Int tests of 5 is an example for the array. Array memory layout. The definition. Uh, it allocates the following memory: first element in the first box, second element in the second, third element in the third, and of the following. Array terminology. In the definition, int tests of 5, int is a data type of array elements. Tests is the name of the array, and 5 is a size declarator. It shows the number of elements in the array. The size of the array is number of elements into size of each element. If we use number of elements as 5 and size of each element is 5 KB, then the size of it is 5 into 5, 25. The size of the array is the total number of bytes allocated for it. Number of elements into number of bytes for each element. Example, int tests 5 is an array of 20 bytes, assuming 4 bytes for int. Long double measures 10 is an array of the 80 bytes, assuming 8 bytes for the long double. Size declarators. Named constant are commonly used as a size declarators. Constant int size is equal to 5, int test is of size. This eases the program maintenance with when the size of the array needs to be changed. Accessing array elements. Each element in the array is assigned a unique subscript. Subscripts start at 0. Here you can see the subscripts as following. The last element subscript is n-1, where n is the number of elements in the array. Array elements can be used as regular variables. Tests of 0 is equal to 79. Count is less than of tests. Sin is greater than of tests of 1. Tests of 4 is equal to tests of 0 plus tests of 1. Arrays must be accessed via individual elements as following. Accessing array contents. Can access element with a constant or literal subscript. Can use integer expression as subscript. You can see the examples of them in the given slide. Looping through an array. Example. The following code defines an array, numbers, and assigns values 1 to n to each element. Default initialization. Global array. All the elements initialized to 0 by default. Local array. All elements uninitialized by default. No bound checking in R. When you use the value as an array subscript, R does not check it to make sure it is a valid subscript. In other words, you can use subscripts that are beyond the bounds of the array. This can corrupt memory and other variables, causing unpredictable results. When using the Visual Studio in debug mode, there is some checking but not like in Java. Example of no bound checking. Following code defines a 3-element array and then writes 5 values to it, and you can check the code. Off by one errors. An off by one error happens when you use an array subscripts that are off by one. This can happen when you start subscript sets 1 rather than 0. Constant size 100. Here is the example where the subscripts start at 1. Implicit array sizing can determine array size by the size of the initialization test. Int quizzes. Processing array contents. Array elements can be treated as ordinary variables of the same type as the array. When using plus plus, comma, minus minus operators, don't confuse the element with the subscript. To copy one array to another, don't try to assign one another to one array to another. Instead, assign element by element. Printing the contents of the array. You can display the contents of the character of array by sending it names to the count, but this only works with the character arrays. Printing the contents of the array. Summing and averaging array elements. You can use a loop to add together array elements. One sum can compute average. Finding the largest value in an array. Int count, int largest numbers for count is equal to 1. Count is less than size count plus plus. If the numbers count is greater than largest is equal to numbers of count. Partially filled arrays. If you don't know how much data in an array will be holding, make an array large enough to hold the largest expected number of elements. Use the content counter variable to keep the track of the number of items stored in an array. Comparing arrays. Compare two arrays, you must compare element by element. Arrays as function arguments. To pass an array to a function, just use the array name. To define a function that takes an array parameter, use empty for array argument. Array names in functions are like reference variables. Changes are made to the array in the function reflected in an actual array is called a function. Need to exercise caution that array is inadvertently changed by a function. Two-dimensional arrays can define an array for the multiple sets of data, like table in the spreadsheet. Use two size declaratives in definition. First declarative is number of rows, second is the number of columns. Can omit inner. Use array name as an argument in the function type. Use empty for the row, size declarative for column in the prototype header. Arrays with the three or more dimensions. We can define arrays with any number of dimensions. When used as a parameter, specify all the first dimension in the prototype heading. Dynamic arrays you can allot and array dynamically. Thank you.